So when we look at the budget, it includes a bunch of things, and I'm going to kind of like break those out. But it talks about public works, parks and recreation, fire, police, codes, and city services. So let's start with public works. I say public works. Do we know what that is? Well, that's the folks who collect your trash, your recycling, who clean the streets, who, and by clean the streets, let me be clear, I'm talking about snow removal and street repair. When we talk about street cleaning, that is Capital Region Water. So there's kind of a partnership there. Those are the kinds of things that Public Works does. And basically, Public Works gets called for a lot of things when people don't know what to do about things. If it's not a police matter, the next folks they call are Public Works because they're kind of like accessible. You know, we see those trucks go by. So those are the sorts of things that are in Public Works. And then there's an overlap with Public Works and Parks and Recreation. I'm moving up from the bottom, Parks and Recreation, because Public Works provides the maintenance at the parks, but Parks and Recreation their budget are things like programming, adding new infrastructure to parks. So those are and that also is our pools is under Parks and Recreation. So recruiting and training lifeguards would also be under Parks and Recreation. Then we have Bureau of Fire, which of course are our firefighters, but they also do important things in the community, like the distribution of fire safety materials, holding events on fire safety, and the distribution of smoke detectors. So there's a big public service, public education that would come under fire as well. So let's not forget that. Then when we talk about police, it's important that there's a police budget and a public safety budget. So within public safety, there is police, which is pretty much typically the things that you think about police. The police, they're police officers, they're supporting staff, our new community service aides, all the training and support for police and community service aides. That would also be like their equipment and their infrastructure. And then we talk about codes. That is codes enforcement. The development of codes would originate in that department. That's all the support staffing codes. That is the codes officers who go out and do inspections. So that's your city codes. And then when you talk about city services, that's kind of an umbrella sort of thing. The rest of you feel free to jump in if I miss things. But city services are, you need to go downtown because you need a building permit, or you need some sort of paperwork like a parking permit. You want to have a block party. Those sorts of things where you go to interact with the staff. That's your city services. Those who send out the bills, those who do notices. That's where your translation staff would be. If we're talking about needing to have more people who translate, who create ways that we can participate and communicate, that would be under that broad umbrella of city services. Your 211, your 311, all that sort of education and informational sorts of things come under city services. So that's kind of the big overview of the city budget. And then within each of those six, there are smaller categories.